Okay guys, we are almost done. Next, we have our weight maps, we have our bee built. We need to do some parenting. And again, there's a lot of different ways to do this. The way I'm showing you isn't necessarily the way that I would do it, but since we're just getting started, this is intro. We only have about 90 days to really cover all this stuff. So we're going to try to keep it as simple as possible. So this is really basic stuff. Not the best way necessarily, but a way that'll work for what we need. All right. So with that in mind, let's go ahead and let's do some parenting. Two options we'll look at. One is if you hit the shortcut M for motion, you can select parents this way. The problem is if you select the object, the child object, and you click this list, look at all these bones. It gets really confusing. So I'm not going to use the motion option. Close out of that, but that is a way. What we're going to do is this. We're going to use the setup tab, and we're going to store the parents that we want first, and then we will assign the children after the fact. So let me go ahead and do this for a second. So we're going to figure out what we want parented to what, and let's look at this. So this bone here is kind of like a neck bone, and my thought would be that's probably what I'll use in most cases to rotate my head. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, you know what, I'm going to store that bone. So under setup, I'm going to come down to my tools, and at the bottom you'll see assignment store selected. So store the parent. All right, next, what do I want the child of that to be? And if I look real closely, this bone right here, get it? This is the controller for my tongue, and my thought would be that when my head moves around, I want these bones to be the children of my head. So I grab the root of that chain, and I say assign, and I say I want the object that I have stored, which in this case is my neck, to be my parent. So store parent. Great. So if this works, I should be able to rotate, and yeah, you can see my tongue's going to kind of go with it. So I think that should be fine. If I need to change it later, I can. So again, auto key is not on, so I'm just going to not worry about playing with my, testing out my scene. Now if I do this too much, you'll see there's a back of the tongue, and I'll fix that a little bit later. Okay, so the tongue looks good. Next, I have this little area here, which is kind of like my chest, right? And I'm thinking that I need to do some parenting here as well. So this is my lowest spine. So in this case, I'm going to store that item. And then I'm going to select these middle legs. So I'm going to take the top bone in each chain. And I have that spine stored, right? So you see, select your spine, right? I think it's right here. That's the tongue. Make sure you have the right one. Okay, store the parent, store selected, and then select the children. So select, select. With my children selected here, I will go to assign, and I'll assign parent. So what should happen is if I move this bone here, looks good, works fine. So next, these top bones here. I guess when there's no right or wrong here if you haven't figured it out. It's just whatever you want to happen. I think when I rotate this bone here, I'll store it. I want those front legs to go with it. So store your parent. All right, select the children, and then go to assign parent. Done. This back one's going to be my hips, so I'll store it. And then there's a few bones here. I'll take the stinger, and I will assign that stored bone as my parent. Good. And I'll take the hind legs here, and I will again assign parent. And what I should have is the hips should kind of go. Looks pretty good. And then if I go here with the hips, looks pretty good. Okay, last but not least, what about our wings? And I guess I'll grab this little vertebrae here, and I'll store it. Again, it's a little trial and error. You're just kind of taking your best guess. You can always go back and redo this if you need to. Select the two children here, and then assign parents. And then in theory, I'm done. I should be able to kind of grab this bone, to orbit. I should be able to grab a neck here. Grab that bone. Again, you can just click. Looks good, so I can rotate my head. If I want this jaw to open up, I can rotate the jaw. Looks pretty good. If I wanted to rotate, I don't know, let's just grab the neck. Everything kind of goes together. Looks fine. Now again, truthfully and honestly, I would definitely rethink some of this stuff, but for our needs, I think this is going to be just fine. All right, we're keeping it super simple. You can see If you right mouse click on a bone chain, it selects all the hierarchy. These wings, they kind of flap. All right, next, I just have to add eyes. All right, so I will go and show you how to set up an eye rig, and then what we'll do with that is we'll load an item from a scene, and we'll use that to kind of add eyes, and we'll do some parenting here. But again, I think we have a decent looking guy here. I would put auto key on. Again, it's really low polygon. It's just really basic. You know, I might, for instance, when this goes down, what if the legs went with it? You know, so you could always, don't forget, if you wanted to, if I don't like how the jaw is maybe moving these too much, if I wanted the legs to go with it, you can always go back, set up, store selected. Let's grab these guys and let's assign parent, and then I don't know if this will look good or not, but you can see now when the jaw kind of moves, our legs will go with it. Again, this is a super basic thing, so obviously we could do better, but this will do. This will do fine. So there we go. Basically, there's our bee. We'll add some eyes on this thing, and then you're on your own to start animating and start having some fun with this. All right. So texturing, that's something we should probably think about. All right. It doesn't look very good right now. The surface doesn't look very good. The rig's fine. And the geometry is okay. It's fine. It'll definitely suit our needs. We can play with this, but that'll be next.